gone pretty deep in that Wolf room with Q and Keanu,
Yeah.
Dealing with Quay's injury, and also even when he's playing, you've gone 3 deep. Just what have you seen from those other 2 guys and their abilities?
I think that they understand that we've kind of talked about hunting as one. Like, that is the whole mantra, is we can't do it all by ourselves, and it's a long season, and we want to play a deep, long season. So teams that have depth are going to be able to play longer, and so if we understand that, hey, next man up, Yanze, we played, he showed up at Georgia, Wisconsin, and I think he's done a great job too. And it's just about, hey, I'm only getting evaluated on the plays I'm in. If for the things that we want for ourselves, but for the team, we're all going the same place in January. And so the more guys that can play, we all want to be on a winning team.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Q has one of the higher sack rates in the country.
Yeah.
What about his pass rush game makes him so effective?
I think that he's using his tools. I think the greatest thing as a player or anything is to know who you are. LT Overton's one guy. He's a different build, different skill set. Q's got extremely long arms, and I think he's done a really good job at using what he's been blessed with to go execute and to trust it and say, hey, if I get in a situation, this is what I'm going to use. I think it's knowing who you are, when to use it in the situations I am, because I don't know what the offense is going to do. I don't know if the tackle's going to slip and fall. So what situation am I in, and how do I use it for my best interest in the team?
We've also seen him play well on those first and second kind of rundowns, not just as a pass rush specialist. Just where have you seen his improvement in those areas?
I think it's been his mentality. I think a lot of I said confidence at the beginning. It's knowing that I can do this. And I think he's mastered what he needs to do for him. He's a long guy, tall guy. It means you got to bend a little bit more than other guys because you're on a level playing field. Quay's he's a little bit shorter, but he's built, so he can get underneath people pretty well. And so I think that's been an advantage for him. I think Q's just said, I know myself. What do I need to do in this moment, and trust that, and go as hard as I can. And if we need to get somebody else, he's like, hey, next guy in. So
regarding,
go ahead.
I was going to say, regarding Q, have you felt that stab in practice that he kind of used to run over the tackle this past weekend?
Say that one more time.
The stab move that he used, kind of run over the tackle. Have you felt that in practice?
Oh, yeah, and that's something we drill every week. I think I got here and I said, I think that's what you need to do. I think he knew it too, but I said, hey, that's what makes you different. Your arms, one arm is longer than 2 on a tackle. It's the shoulder length that doesn't get, and he's fully committed to doing that and trying to have counter moves off of that. I think he's just somebody that's bought in. He loves Alabama. You don't wait this long and not love this place and want to go out on the right note, and trying to give him everything we got so that he can have the season that he wants individually and collectively.
Yeah, sorry if you've already been asked, but I think Jihaad after the game on Saturday said he's been playing a little bit of Wolf. Is that working with you and the other guys in that room?
He's rushed with me a little bit. He's a guy that I know when I was recruiting him, that was when I was at Florida, I was recruiting him to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And so just to see him grow and develop a little bit confidence and obviously getting opportunities to do it, Coach Womack's given him a lot of opportunities to do it, and he's shown up and obviously wrecking havoc on Saturday too.
Yeah, putting him in that position, in that role, what does that do, or what does that open up for the rest of the defense?
I think anytime you have guys that can do multiple things, you have to figure out how am I going to treat them.
Yeah.
Just like if a quarterback can run, or they put in a wide receiver in the backfield, do I treat him like a back and put him on a linebacker? Same thing with us is, do I treat him like a linebacker or do I treat him like a DN?
Yeah.
And so I think it allows us to have diversity in what we run and make people have to think.
You mentioned Josh Chapman and Haha at the beginning. Just kind of how important are they to this team and these players as former players, and kind of the way they relate to the guys?
Well, where their office is, they got to walk by them every day. And so, whether it's, the music that they're playing in the building or the lessons that they teach them, or calling them out in practice about the standard and what's expected here at Alabama, when you've lived it and your pictures are on the wall holding up championship trophies, I think it speaks loud, and they set it for the guys that are here. And so they got to uphold it.
Last 2 for Coach.
You mentioned the run game. Tennessee's got a guy in Sampson who's been pretty dynamic this year, a lot of touchdowns. What have you kind of seen from him on film and even told your room about defending him?
He's a guy that they got a big O-line, and he's a little bit shorter, and that's, I think, an advantage for them is that he can hide behind and be patient. He's also really hard to get down. You can't sling him down. He can spin out of tackles. He's lead 15 touchdowns this season. The next closest guy's got 4. He's obviously a mainstay in their offense, and so got to go shut that down in order to be successful. And he's a great player, and they find many ways to give him the ball, and I expect them to try to feed him the ball on Saturday.
What are the challenges in defending this run game when they use such spread out formations with guys close to the boundary?
I think a lot of times there's 2 plays going on, the perimeter and the core. And so we always starting inside out and making them make those long throws. And he's a great quarterback that can make all those. But if we can make them go east-west and obviously play everything in front of us as best as we can and make the game slow down, I think that that's something that they want to go fast-paced. Got a lot of great players. And so it starts inside out and up front, and that's what's going to cause us to be successful.
All right. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks.
Thank y'all.
Thanks.